Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. By the title of this video, as you guys can see, I'm gonna be doing a story time about the time I got cheated. It's honestly crazy, like now that I think of it, but I'm gonna share with you guys like the feelings and the thoughts that were going through my head at the time when everything was happening, because I mean, we can't control how we feel, or we can, right? Just that like we're not thinking 100% like with our headspace. Quickly, if you guys are new to my video, don't forget to subscribe. I do try and post as many videos as I can. Other than that, let's get started. Okay, so we have to give this person a name. If you guys know, you know. So we're gonna name him Joe. I'm not saying his real name because I don't want to put him on blast, right? But I mean, if you know, you know. Me and Joe were together for 3 years. We started dating when I was 16. I was 15 or 16, more or less, and we lasted together 3 years. It was crazy, like, wow. So he cheated on me that I remember of, or that I know of, was 7 times. I know, right? Wait, he cheated on me like the first 6 months. We were together for 6 months and he had already cheated on me. But I was like so blind, so dumb. And I was just like, no, like he's gonna change. Which people do change, I will say that. But I gave him like the benefit of the doubt. And I was like, let's keep working with it. Didn't change, he cheated again. Like what, maybe like 8 months late, like 8 months in. So 6 months, and then like in 8 months he cheated again. And like the first year and a half he cheated again. Like he just cheated so many times. Most of the time they were with different people, and with the same people sometimes he would hook up more than once. So 7 times he cheated is by, I mean, like 7 different people. Some of them he did hook up with them like 3 times, 4 times. So it's just different, right? But I'm gonna tell you guys about like one time that I caught him like crazy, that like now that I look back at it, I'm just like, damn, like now that's crazy, and I don't even know how I still wanted to make it work. Anyway, so this is how it happened. I like literally remember the dates and all, because like that's how much it hurt me in my little heart when everything was happening. So this was around July, like 4th of July, because I remember the fireworks season. Him and I, it was really weird. We would like get together. We were together and then we would take breaks, but then we would get back. But it was never like asking each other out again, like, hey, you want to be my boyfriend? You want to get back? It was just like we knew because we're together, right? Well, we had been on a break. And usually when we tried to make things work, like we would meet up, or like I'd go to his house, we'd go out and eat, things like that. That's how we knew we were trying to get back together. So it was July 7th. Oh no, I caught him on July 7th. So it was around like July, it was like around 3rd of July. So on the 3rd of July, we were together. I went over to his house. We saw a movie. Like we were literally together all day. I think we even ate like Whataburger. So things were good, yada yada. Then we keep going like forward. 4th of July, I was with my friends, he was with his friends. So we were each doing our thing. Keep in mind, we're texting like throughout these times. That's how I'm telling you, like we knew we were trying to work things out. So like 5th of July came, we didn't see each other, because keep in mind, I was going to school and he was going to school also. I was in high school at the time, and he was going to college. I think he was taking like 2 classes. So it's 5th of July, right? 6th of July, and on 7th of July, oh, let me draw it for you guys. That way you guys can go ahead and see what I'm talking about. So it's a 4-way stop, as you guys can see. So I live on this side. Okay, I don't live that close to the 4-way stop, but that way you guys can see more or less like the way we're driving. I live on this side, and he lives on this side of the street, like on this side, but he lives, ooh, like maybe 3 or 4 miles. But that way you guys can see how we're driving, right? Okay, so it's 7th of July, this day. I called him like, hey, do you want to hang out? But he didn't answer. So I texted him. He didn't answer either. And then I called him. This was not like back to back, but like I did call him again, and he answered, and he told me, I'm with my friends, I'm busy. So I was like, okay, that's fine. So I just left it at that. Like I didn't mind him being with his friends. I really didn't care, because I know he did hang out with his friends a lot. So I was going to my friend's house. So back to the map, guys. That way you guys can see. So I live here, he lives over there. My friend lives around over here. So I have to come this way. Well, I'm driving to my friend's house. So when I'm driving this way, we have to do a 4-way stop. Joe is driving this way, and I saw his car. And I was like, oh my God, is that him? And I'm like squinting, trying to use my 20/20 vision. And it's him. Like, I see him in the car with another guy. So he goes straight, and I was like, oh my God, like, this guy literally just totally saw me. Like, I know for a fact he saw me in the car. So I did a U-turn. Oh my God, this is where it gets crazy. So I did a U-turn. I didn't even care about the other four-way stop where the people were coming. So he went straight in front of me, and I went behind him. Because I was like, what's going on? Like, how are you with somebody else? And you told me you're with your friends. So I'm calling him, and at this time, he already knows that it's me. Like, he knows I'm behind him. So I'm calling him, and he's not answering. Then finally he answers, and I'm like, hey, what the heck? Like, who are you with? You told me you were with your friends. He's like, Luis, leave me alone. Like, I'm with one of my friends. You're embarrassing me. And I'm like, you're embarrassing me. Like, you're telling me you're with one of your friends, yet there's a guy in there. So we're literally driving like around. He's speeding. When I tell you speeding, he's like literally trying to get away from me, and I'm trying to get to him. So he's driving. I'm passing red lights. Like, I'm not even lying. He was wanting me to get the red light. So he would slow down and then speed up. So I got the red light. But I'll pass that red light. So it was kind of like a joke on him. I call his mom, and I'm like, hey, Joe is in a car with another guy. Backstory. The reason I called his mom is because his mom and I were like cool. We would talk and everything. So it's not weird that I was calling his mom. And she knew about all the other times he cheated on me. So I was like, oh, this girl's gonna help me. So I called, and I'm like, hey, Joe is in the car with another guy. And he told me he was with his friend. So he's like lying to me. And he's gonna take him back home, and they're literally gonna hook up. Let me call him. Claro que no va a hacer eso. So she calls him, and I'm like, okay, like, she kind of has my back. At least it prevents him from hooking up. So I thought. So I'm still following him at like while we're talking on the phone and all of this. And I'm calling him. Now that I think of it, I'm like, why am I even calling him? Like, what the heck is a call gonna do? So he ends up going to his aunt's house. Literally pulls to his aunt's house. So I'm thinking he called his aunt and was like, hey, Luis is following me. Like, tell him not to follow me. So he pulls up to his aunt's house. I stop my car. I was like ready to fight the other guy because everybody knew we were together. Literally everybody knew we were together when we were together, because I would post him all the time and he would post me also. So it was like not a secret. I was ready to fight. Like, I saw the guy and I knew who he was. So I was like, oh my God, like, this is totally gonna be a hookup. Like, that's like a little ghetto kid. So his aunt is like talking to Joe in the car, and I'm with the cousin. And the cousin is like, no, it's not even worth it. Like, what are you doing? Don't do that. Don't follow him. Then the aunt comes back and she's like, hey, just give me the keys for your car. Like, don't follow him. It's not even worth it. Like, look what he's doing. Basically telling me, like, don't follow him. What are you doing? Like, it's dumb. Keep in mind, they also knew he had cheated on me. So they know it's not like the first time he did this. So he just drove off. And I was like, wow, like, he literally just drove off in front of my face. Didn't even say I'm sorry. Nothing. So that happened, whatever. Fast forward, we got back together. I like put it aside. Keep in mind, I tried to put a lot of things in the back of me so we could like make our relationship work. So at the time he had an iPhone 6 and he had recently just gotten the iPhone 7 because the iPhone 7 was new. Well, he wants to sell his iPhone 6, right? I was like, yeah, definitely, like, I'll go ahead and help you sell it. So I take pictures of it. The phone was on, right? He had not reset it, but somehow, like, all the contacts were erased. His pictures were erased. He didn't have any numbers saved, nothing. So somehow it was still receiving messages even though it didn't have the SIM card. So he gets a text message from several people. Some of them are like, oye, es mi hijo, dile a tu mamá, things like that. So I was like, okay, whatever, like, it's his aunt, his cousin, his friends, like, it doesn't matter. But then there was this one message that I don't even know why I decided to check, but it was like, hey, are you busy? And I was like, what? Like, that's so weird. So I got my phone, I put that number on my phone, I saved it, I checked the WhatsApp picture. It was that little ratchet kid who he was in the car with. So I was like, oh my God, like, my heart dropped. Like, it literally dropped at the time because I was like, wow, why would he be asking him if he's busy? So I thought the worst. Whatever, I kept cool. I got back to Joe's house and I told him, like, I already knew the kid's name. So I told him, like, hey, and I gave him his phone. I was like, I know you hooked up with Frank. Let's call him Frank. I was like, I know you hooked up with Frank. And he's like, what? No. And I'm like, yes, it is. I already spoke to him. He told me you did hook up with him. Like, why would you lie to me that you didn't when I had caught you guys in the car? And I bet it was that day that you guys were together. And he was like, no, I'm sorry. It wasn't even that day. It was another day. Like, my heart dropped whenever he said that, because he basically confirmed that he did hook up with him. My little heart, like, it was just broken into little pieces, because I was like, wow, I thought they didn't hook up. Then I went out of my way. This, like, other days later, I went out of my way. I called Frank, and Frank was like, yeah, we hooked up like 3 times. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, my heart broke. And I just hung up, and like, I knew now, like, in the back of my head that they hooked up several times. It was not just once, and that just, like, destroyed me. That broke my little heart. And that was the last time that I know he cheated on me. Like, I had to find out, right? And I didn't find out, like, because I was digging. It was just, like, a message sent to me. You get me? Like, that's a message. It's like when things happen for a reason. I feel like that message happened for a reason when I had the phone so I could go ahead and see. You get me? Like, so my eyes could open up, I guess, and, like, leave him. So because of that, I was just like, no, like, this relationship is just not gonna work ever. Like, that was already the 7th time he cheated on me, and I just knew I had to break it off. But I enjoyed, like, the last couple of days we had together, and I was like, okay, like, let's make the best of it, because it's just not gonna work, right? Like, I knew that in the back of my head. And we ended up breaking up, and that's that. Like, that was one of the times I got him cheating. It's so crazy because, like, I'm grateful for the relationship. Like, it's crazy the amount of love I had for that kid. Like, I would do anything for him at the time, right? Like, I was just so crazy in love. But he, like, would put me down a lot. Like, I really thought really low of myself. Like, now, heck, not that I'm conceited, but I think, like, so good of myself, so highly. I feel like I value myself for what I have and who I am, that, like, never ever again will I scoop so low like how I was with him. Because now I compare, like, him and we're, like, totally different. He's still the same person with the same mentality. Like, I don't even think he matured. He still is, like, with the same mindset. But whatever, everybody, like, at their own pace, and I have nothing against him. I really do think he's a good person in the bottom of his heart. Because I don't know if he changed. I really don't know much of him. I just hope that he doesn't make anybody feel the way I felt. Because that is crazy. Like, 7 times that I know of, guys. That I know of. Because I know for a fact. Like, I know. There's more times that he cheated on me and I just don't know. And if you guys are thinking he probably had money, that's why I was with him. Let me tell you, sweet cheeks. Money was not there. We were, like, when I left him, I think I was like 17, 18 when we broke up. So I was poor. And just totally different pages. So why I stayed there, honestly, who knows why I stayed for so long. But that's crazy. Like, oh, actually catching someone, right? Like, cheating on you. Oh, also, if you guys want to know, like, do I still talk to him? I don't talk to him. It really doesn't interest me to talk to him because, I don't know, I just feel like we're not the same type of people. Like, he's all about partying and, like, I don't know, like, just different people. I'm more about, like, working, hustling, going to school. Like, yeah, he goes to school, but that's not really his priority, or at least it wasn't when I was with him. It was more like partying and having fun. And don't get me wrong, like, I know we have to have fun, like, we're young, but that fun just isn't for me. Although I will say, I am very grateful because he helped me a lot when I started off my moon jump business. Like, he helped me. We would, like, pick up moon jumps like 11 at night. His dad helped me a lot. To be honest, sometimes I think, like, does he ever reflect and think, like, wow, look at Luis. Like, if I would have stayed with him and not, like, cheated on him, like, everything we could have had. I'm not saying I have a lot, but it's just, like, Like, you get me? Like, when I was with him, I wanted to get an apartment because, like, I really wanted to marry the kid. And, like, now I have my own apartment and it's, like, a really nice apartment. It's just so crazy, you get me? Like, that's what I think about. If he thinks about those things. But yeah, that basically concludes my video. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe so you guys can see my videos. I don't post weekly videos, even though I say I do. I just post it whenever I make the time to do a video. So other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye. Quickly, if you guys are new to my video, don't forget to subscribe. I do try and post as many videos as I can. Other than that, let's get started.